I also think that as more women get seat at the table at the higher positions, the perspective and the women perspective is understood better as well, right?
Okay.
And there is nothing, it's like, in diversity, everybody brings in a perspective. So women bring in a unique perspective towards things than men. And I, being a women leader, can see that quite a bit because the cone got smaller for me, and I could see that I'm one of the fewer ones on the table. And oftentimes I saw that my perspective was unique. And I was trying to, rather than I was trying to align with other perspectives, I started to realize that I have to put in my perspective. And I got very strong about it after, because I thought it's the only perspective in the room. So I had to
That is
really
different.
talk about it.
Hi, Charu.
Sanjana, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Welcome. And I know I wouldn't say it was difficult, but we really wanted to kind of find a common time, but it always ended up okay, and I wanted to spend good time with you. So here you are.
Well, thank you for waiting patiently, but I'm so looking forward now, and I'm sure it's going to be fun.
Yes, it will be. So I know, Charu, I've known you for some time, and recently we've done things together, some activities, and I've seen that you are in technology and you're very successful in what you do. Can you tell me about anything you would like to share of in what you did?
Yeah. I think definitely, it's the area of interest,
Okay.
plus the passion, plus the environment and the opportunities that you get you where you are, where one gets to, in at a given point in time. So I would say it's probably a combination of all of this that got me here. I think growing up, one of the things that I think influenced me is uh, just getting a lot of inspiration from my parents, very highly educated. My dad was a principal of a postgraduate college. My mom was a principal of a high school, and there was an environment of teaching. That's what I call when I say environment. And there was an environment which inspired education, higher education. The influence from the parents was that I have to be independent. That kind of counts. And then my interest, my passion. I always loved math, so definitely it was a natural thing for me to tilt towards STEM, and that kind of got me, into an area of interest. And then from there on, the right opportunities. So I think it's a combination of all of this that got me here. But I think you can go somewhere, but the people along the way that inspire you, motivate you, and also give you the opportunity is what I appreciate the most.
And in your journey, in your technology journey, did you always find support from your peers, or it was always very friendly environment, or did you ever feel that, oh, this is challenging, how do I pass this hurdle, what do I do?
So, like in any other world or any other career you pursue, there are always people that align with your goals, and you align with them. And there are always, you will get into and you will bump into people who are, not aligned with your goals and have a different value system, is what I would say more accurately. So definitely in my long career, I've possibly bumped into all kind of people. I would say people are generally very, very, very friendly and helpful. They intend to be very helpful, but there are definitely conscious and subconscious value system that they get influenced by. And sometimes it's not 100% in alignment with yours, and you have to just make it work. So
Yeah.
in general, lots of support, but there were times when I seek help and support, and I was eventually able to find it. So there's never a time where you cannot find your path forward. That's what I believe in. So I think you always will.
So what that means is that if there is a will, there is a way.
That's
and
right.
You can easily
Absolutely.
find it.
Absolutely.
Okay. And there will be hurdles in whatever you do, but then you have to find a way to kind of, pass or go over them.
That's right.
Did you see a lot of women along the way in technology? Like you probably went to engineering college
Yes.
and everything.
That's a very, very good question. I always look at data and I'll share some with you as I look at the latest, but there has always been very little number of girls, very little number of women around me in the area that I work.
Okay.
I didn't even realize from time to time, but it was very evident in high school that we were a class of 80 and about four or six girls taking math. So as soon as the mathematics class lecture starts, the number of girls like literally go out from that class and attending other subjects.
Okay.
Then in my computer science, in a batch of 40, we were only four girls that I remember distinctly. And one thing that I miss, like right now, is all of my girl classmates are back in India. So I'm the only one here. So I'm like, I don't have many, girlfriends who are from my, last education that I did, which was my master's in computers here around me. At times you notice that, and many a times you don't. So at work, I think I got used to by the time I got to work, because at work I did not notice until I got into a much higher like leadership role, where I could certainly see, the cone got very small or much smaller for women.
Okay. So what is it that we should do? Like, obviously encourage women, girls to get into technology, but sometimes the interest is not there or passion. Like, what do you do? Like, as a for future, so that more women can enter.
So before I go there, I'll share some data. I always look at it like still in the tech jobs, there are only 25% women.
Okay.
Even today. In the biggest companies like Google, Microsoft, I wouldn't specifically call others, but I think these companies average at 30% women.
Okay.
If you look at the women executives in technology, it's about 10% only.
Okay.
So if you look at this data, that kind of speaks for itself. Like, we have the cone is getting so small and it started out very small. So there are a couple of things which I personally think are very, very critical. And as I started, it starts from the beginning of your life. So I think as parents, all of us, and I have two grown-ups now, I've made sure that I always give the same kind of tools, environment, and toys to my girl versus my boy. And it's either or, whether it's to do with some artsy stuff or to do with something to do with STEM. I would like both of them to be equally exploring those. I think it starts from there. If you look at the top few reasons, you would see that one of the top reasons is the environment. Like growing up, girls are more introduced to the artsy things than boys, and that kind of builds the base.
Okay.
I would actually say along the way, definitely realize your girl's interest towards certain subjects, which I think my parents did very well, and they got me motivated. So definitely inspiring us as parents, us as acquaintances, us as teachers, and in whatever role that we pursue, inspiring the women, the girls around us to be trying STEM more would be definitely a good start. But also as we enter the workplace, it's important to really like look at the bringing in more diversity, trying harder to to get the diversity introduced in your workplace is also
Okay.
very important.
So basically, if you are in a leadership position, then you would, kind of give equal opportunities to men or women that way. You
That
know.
is true. I think you're touching on another point which is very important, is that I think if there wouldn't be more women leaders, there wouldn't be more women in STEM. So, and in technology overall, there has to be more women leaders. It starts from there. And that's why I think if you look at the data again, that the market literally tells one of the top few reasons is that women in technology are not as prevalent is because of not finding enough role models,
Okay.
people to inspire them to work in that area.
Okay.
I also noticed that in my personal experiences that as I grew in the leadership position, a lot of women in the organization became like, really good friends. I very quickly, as I grew up the chain, I very quickly became like their role model.
Okay.
The responsibility felt a little high. And I also realized that they all started to look up to me. It is because of the lack of the
Okay.
women leaders in the cone. The cone gets smaller and the people look up to you as a
Okay.
women leader. So definitely increasing the number of women leaders will definitely change. I also think that as more women get seat at the table at the higher positions, the perspective and the women perspective is understood better as well, right?
Okay.
And there is nothing, it's like, in diversity, everybody brings in a perspective. So women bring in a unique perspective towards things than men. And I, being a women leader, can see that quite a bit because the cone got smaller for me and I could see that I'm one of the fewer ones on the table. And oftentimes I saw that my perspective was unique. And I was trying to, rather than I was trying to align with other perspectives, I started to realize that I have to put in my perspective. And I got very strong about it after because I thought it's the only perspective in the room. So I had
That
to
is
really
different.
talk about it. So definitely, increasing the number of women leaders will change the game.
Okay, all right. And there will be challenges, I guess, for women because, as a household, like, in a household, women manage the kids, right, little bit, especially as they grow older, like, your family and everything. That is always going to be there, right? Managing and still growing in your career. That is,
Yes. I know that, there are certain things which are just, that's how nature is built. But
yes.
I really think those are very few. And if you look at it, right from the birth of a child, it's like, it's mom and dad. They both are equally responsible. And I have experienced that in my life. There is no way I could grow up in my career in the way that I did without my husband's support. So, there is this other side of the coin, which is that, there is an equal responsibility. And the more we realize and the more we work towards it, the more even it becomes, is how I feel.
Yeah. And it's good for the family too, because if there are both parents and they're working together, so even the children get both perspectives.
That's right. Yeah, that's very correct, actually. And I have seen growing up, like, because my mom and dad worked, I saw that it never occurred to me that I should not work in first place. More so, I also felt like there was a sense of respect towards each other's work, which I learned quite a bit. And I think it just helps the family. It's, both of are earning well. It gives you a better life. So there are very positive sides of it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that is really nice, Charu. What I learned from you is today that, we need to encourage more girls, starting from beginning, giving them equal opportunities.
Yeah.
We do give girly things, but we give other other toys or other things also. So, or other artsy things, but maybe like Lego or something, or technology stuff.
Yes.
And also giving them equal opportunity, supporting them in their learning. If and it could be for any child,
Yeah.
you need to support as a parent. And then, as you also said, that more women into leadership position is going to encourage more women to go there, right?
Perfect.
Because they're going to feel like, okay, there's an opportunity, it's fair, right? So
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a very important thing that I've learned as I grown up the chain, that more women in leadership is very, very important at this point.
okay, thank you for joining me today, Cheryl. It was great to talk to you.
My pleasure, Sanjana. It was wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
If you wanna talk about anything at all, then you know who to call. Just tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana, tell Sanjana. Tell Sanjana, just tell Sanjana.